Have you ever noticed the quiet second before you hit send? The heartbeat where your power hangs in the balance. Think back. How many times have you rushed to reply, hoping your quick response would prove you're calm, strong, unbothered, only to feel smaller once the message was gone? We've all been there, giving away pieces of our strength, one notification at a time, trying to show we're still relevant, still worth their attention. But here's the truth no one tells you. Every instant reply trains the world to believe it owns your time. Every explanation you type whispers, "You still have me." And once they know they have you, your value begins to fade. People stop wondering. They stop fearing loss. They stop treating your presence as rare. Now picture the opposite. A message arrives. You feel the pull, the need to prove you've moved on. But this time, you pause. You breathe. You choose silence. That single act flips the entire dynamic. Suddenly, they don't know where they stand. Doubt creeps in. Curiosity grows. Your quiet becomes louder than any defense you could write. Brother, this video is your roadmap to taking back control, not through anger or games, but through disciplined silence. We're about to uncover 8 truths that will change how you handle every text, every test, every power play. Before we dive in, like and subscribe to Stoic Station and start this journey now. Drop a 1 if you've ever felt powerless hitting send, or a 2 if you're ready to reclaim your calm strength. Because the moment you stop reacting on demand, something powerful begins. And it starts with uncertainty. Now, let's dive in. 1. Uncertainty begins. The most powerful message you can ever send is often the one you never type. In a world where everyone reacts the moment their phone lights up, silence stands out like a thunderclap in a quiet room. Most men reply instantly, trying to prove they're still valuable, still relevant, still part of the conversation. Yet every fast reply quietly whispers to the other person, "You still have me. You still control the pace." Picture this. A message arrives from someone who once dismissed you. Your pulse jumps. Your thumb hovers over the keyboard, eager to show that you've moved on and that nothing they say can shake you. But beneath the surface, it isn't strength driving you. It's reaction. And reaction is not power. Quick replies make you predictable. Predictability kills curiosity. It removes the very mystery that makes anyone wonder if they misjudged your worth. When people know you'll always answer, they stop questioning their place in your life. They stop fearing loss because you've taught them you will never create it. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to be summoned on demand, you create a quiet disruption. Doubt begins to creep in. Did I say the wrong thing? Did I push too far? Did I lose him? Suddenly the confidence they once had starts to shake. Not because you fought for it, but because you chose not to. This isn't about playing games. It's about reclaiming your power to choose how and when you give your attention. The next time a text comes in and you feel the pressure to respond, pause. Ask yourself, am I replying because I truly want to, or because I'm afraid of what silence might mean? If the answer is fear, hold your ground. Let the quiet do what no explanation ever could. Make them question, make them reflect, and remind them that your presence is never guaranteed. This is where the journey to real control begins. 2. Control returns. He who controls his reaction controls the game. That single truth can change not just how you handle relationships, but how you navigate every area of life. Most men don't lose power because they lack strength. They lose it because they give away their attention too cheaply. Every time you rush to respond the moment a notification hits your phone, you silently tell the other person, "You decide when I stop, when I feel, when I act." Think about the last time it happened. You were deep into a project at work, fully focused, and suddenly a message appeared. Without hesitation, you dropped everything to reply. In that small moment, your day stopped belonging to you. You handed over your rhythm and let someone else dictate your energy. It might have felt harmless, even polite, but each time you surrender like that, you train people to believe you're available on command. Bosses expect you to drop plans. Friends assume they can interrupt at will. And exes, they know they can tug on your emotions whenever they choose. This constant availability doesn't just drain your time, it erodes the quiet authority that makes others respect you. It tells the world you're reactive, not intentional. And if you're always reacting, you're never leading. You become predictable, and predictable people are easy to manipulate. Over time, you'll feel it. Resentment, exhaustion, and the creeping sense that you're no longer steering your own life. But the moment you choose silence, everything shifts. By not rushing to reply, you reclaim your schedule, your thoughts, your emotional pace. You're sending a clear signal. I decide when and if to engage. That isn't arrogance, it's self-mastery. It's the quiet confidence of a man who values his time and refuses to let others spend it for him. And here's the secret: the world respects boundaries it cannot break. The more disciplined you are with your attention, the more your value rises. So the next time your phone lights up, don't act on impulse. Pause, breathe, finish what you were doing. Ask yourself, am I replying because I want to, or because I'm afraid of seeming distant? If it's fear or pressure, hold your silence. You're not punishing anyone, you're protecting your autonomy. Control your time, your pace, and your presence, and you stop being anyone's puppet. When you master this, you won't just shift dynamics in love. You'll change how people treat you everywhere. Friends will respect your space. Colleagues will think twice before disrupting your focus. And those who once expected you to dance to their rhythm will realize they no longer hold the strings. This is what real power looks like. Not domination, but disciplined self-control. And once you taste it, you'll never want to live any other way. 3. Scarcity builds value. What's rare becomes priceless. It's a truth you see everywhere, in the market, in relationships, in the way people fight for what they can't easily have. Yet most men forget this when it comes to their own presence. They stay constantly available, believing that consistency will earn appreciation. Instead, it breeds complacency. When you're always the first to answer, always ready to help, always within reach, you silently teach others a dangerous lesson. You will stay, no matter how they treat you. Think about how it plays out. In love, it looks like replying the second her message arrives, even after she's dismissed your worth before. In business, it's agreeing to last-minute requests because you don't want to disappoint. In friendship, it's canceling your own plans because someone else suddenly decided they need you. Each small moment feels kind, but together they whisper to the world that your time costs nothing. And when something feels free, people stop valuing it. But everything changes the moment you pull back. When you stop being instantly reachable, curiosity creeps in. Why didn't he reply? Is he busy? Has he moved on? That curiosity grows into a subtle longing. Longing often turns into regret. Your absence forces people to realize the quiet truth. Access to you was never promised. It was a privilege they were starting to take for granted. Silence is not punishment, it's recalibration. It takes your attention from a default setting and turns it into something to be earned. The more disciplined you are about when and how you engage, the more respect and value your presence commands. Your time, your focus, and your energy are finite. They should never be treated like loose change tossed to anyone who asks. So guard your availability. Let people feel the weight of your distance when their effort falls short. Let them earn their way back into your attention instead of assuming it's endless. When you do, you'll notice a shift. Conversations become more intentional, invitations more thoughtful, and relationships, romantic or professional, become more balanced. Scarcity doesn't make you cold, it makes you valuable. And value, once recognized, changes everything about how you're treated. This is how silence quietly teaches the world your worth, without you having to say a single word. 4. Respect awakens. Respect isn't demanded, it's commanded by discipline. Many men spend their energy trying to earn respect with long explanations, endless justifications, or emotional arguments, hoping that if they just say the right words, someone will finally understand their worth. But that's not how respect works. The more you beg to be seen, the smaller you appear. The more you fight to prove yourself, the more power you hand over. Think back to the last time you poured your heart into a message, carefully defending your feelings. You wanted clarity, understanding, maybe even an apology. But when the reply came, if it came at all, it didn't bring the relief you were chasing. Instead, you felt exposed, drained, and somehow even less valued than before. That's what happens when words flow without boundaries. You teach people that as long as they acknowledge you, you'll stay, even if you're undervalued. Every desperate explanation chips away at dignity, but silence, calm, deliberate silence, builds an invisible wall no one can climb without respect. When you refuse to lower yourself to be heard, you force others to look up, not down. You're no longer the man pleading for attention. You're the man who knows his worth and doesn't barter it for scraps of validation. This isn't about arrogance or emotional coldness. It's about protecting the part of you that shouldn't be negotiated, your self-respect. Before you type that long reply, pause, ask yourself, does this response honor my dignity or destroy it? If it destroys, don't send it. Walk away from conversations that pull you beneath your own standards. True power lives in restraint. Respect comes not when you shout louder, but when you choose not to shout at all. The moment you stop trying to convince others of your value and start living it with quiet discipline, something shifts. People who once dismissed you begin to notice the distance. They sense the boundary, and slowly, almost reluctantly, respect awakens. Not because you demanded it, but because your silence made it impossible to ignore. 5. Power flips. Power shifts the very moment you stop chasing. For so long, you may have believed that quick replies prove strength, that showing up first keeps the connection alive. But every time you jump the second someone calls, you give away something far more valuable than a response. You give away control. Those who can summon you with a single message quietly feel they own the rhythm. They know they can pull you back whenever they choose. Picture this. An ex who once took your effort for granted suddenly sends a casual text after weeks of silence. In the past, you would have replied within seconds, desperate to prove you were still calm, still okay, still worth their attention. That old pattern kept them safe. It told them you were still within reach. But patterns are where power hides and where it's lost. Every quick response keeps you predictable. Predictable means manageable. And if you're easy to manage, you're easy to control. But unpredictability, calm, deliberate unpredictability, shakes their confidence. It flips the emotional script. The hunter becomes the hunted. Suddenly, the one who thought they held power is left waiting, wondering, doubting. Your silence does what arguing never could. It rewrites the unspoken rules. They used to expect your chase. Now they feel the void where your reaction used to be. They begin to question their hold on you. They replay conversations, wonder if they've lost their grip, Feel the sting of not knowing what you'll do next. When the text comes, don't act from impulse. Respond only when it serves your strength, your dignity, your peace. If the reply would lower you, stay silent. Protect your throne by refusing to step down to prove your worth. In that quiet moment, the power doesn't just shift, it returns to where it always belonged, in your hands. And once you hold it, you'll wonder why you ever gave it away. 6. Healing begins. Silence isn't empty, it's recovery. In a world where constant reaction is expected, where every ping on your phone demands an answer, silence is a quiet rebellion. Most men stay trapped in old wounds because they keep letting others decide when the healing stops and starts. Each time you answer instantly, you reopen doors that should stay closed. You give someone who once hurt you permission to interrupt your progress and pull you back into a story you were trying to outgrow. Every reaction keeps their power alive and holds your peace hostage. You think you're just being polite or mature by responding, but really, you're keeping the emotional tether tight. You can't build a stronger, freer self if you're always fighting old battles through your phone. Healing requires space. Space to feel without being manipulated. Space to rebuild dignity without outside noise. Space to remember who you are without their approval or control. That's what silence gives you. It creates a sanctuary where clarity can return. In that quiet, you begin to untangle your thoughts, see the truth of what happened, and rebuild the strength that was chipped away by constant drama. It's not about punishing them, it's about protecting you. It's about saying, I'm done letting someone else dictate my emotional weather. Use that quiet intentionally. Fill it with growth. Exercise until your body feels alive again. Read to sharpen your mind. Meditate to reclaim stillness. Create and build something that belongs only to you. Each day you stay silent when you feel pressured to react. You reclaim another piece of your peace. Over time, that calm becomes unshakable armor. It's the quiet strength of a man who no longer needs validation to feel whole. And that strength is the foundation for every new chapter you're about to write. 7. Reflection hurts them. Your silence is their mirror. It shows them what they've done, who they've been, and what they've lost without you needing to utter a single word. Many men fall into the trap of explaining and justifying, hoping that if they just clarify their feelings, the other person will finally understand. But explanations rarely bring accountability. They simply give the other person an escape route, a way to soothe their guilt without ever facing it. When you stay available to answer every question, to soften every edge, you save them from the very discomfort that could change them. You rescue them from the natural consequence of their actions. And when you do that, you rob yourself of dignity and rob them of the chance to truly see what they've done. The hard truth is that some people only grow when there's nothing left to lean on. But when you stay quiet, you take away their escape. There's no quick reassurance, no immediate fix, no soft landing for their choices. They're left alone with their own reflection, and it's rarely a pleasant one. They begin to replay conversations, dissect their words, and wonder how they lost someone who once gave so freely. That silence cuts deeper than anger ever could, because it forces them to hear their own noise in the empty space you leave behind. It's not about punishing them. It's about refusing to participate in your own devaluation. By staying silent, you hold up a mirror they cannot look away from. They must sit with their mistakes, feel the sting of regret, and face the truth they've avoided. They lost access to something rare. So don't rescue them with comfort texts or explanations meant to ease their guilt. Let the mirror do its work. Let your absence speak the words they refused to hear when you were present. Silence forces self-confrontation, a pain they can't avoid, can't silence, and can't rewrite. And that pain, though uncomfortable, is often the only teacher strong enough to make them change. 8. Choosing yourself. Silence is self-respect made visible. It's the quiet line you draw when you finally realize your worth doesn't need to be argued, defended, or begged to be seen. Yet so many men stay trapped in cycles of explanation, hoping that if they just prove enough, explain enough, or give enough, someone will finally value them. But every word you spend trying to convince someone of your worth is a piece of strength handed away. You've likely felt this before. The sting of being undervalued, followed by an almost desperate urge to prove you matter. You write long messages explaining your heart, trying to win back basic respect, hoping they'll wake up and see what they're losing. But each attempt to prove yourself only shrinks you further. The more you fight for attention, the more power you give to the one withholding it. They expect this. They expect you to bend, to trade your peace just to stay close, to abandon your own dignity so you can keep a place in their world. That's why choosing silence is so powerful. It's not weakness, it's declaration. Each time you choose not to respond, you say without words, I choose me. I choose peace over chaos, dignity over disrespect. You stop performing for validation and start standing in your own worth. This isn't about arrogance or punishing anyone. It's about alignment. You align with the life and love you deserve, not the scraps someone offers when it suits them. And something incredible happens when you do this. The person who thought they could toy with your emotions begins to realize they've lost access to someone rare. Friends, partners, even colleagues who once took you for granted start treating you differently because you've taught them, not through speeches, but through action, that your value isn't up for negotiation. Stop chasing validation. Stand tall. Live by the standards you set for yourself. When you do, you stop being an option and become unforgettable. The world remembers those who hold their dignity with calm strength. And the ones who undervalued you will feel the full weight of losing what they can no longer reach. Brother, if you've followed this journey from the first word, you've probably felt a quiet shift inside you. We started with a simple but often ignored truth. Silence is not weakness, it's a choice. Most men think power lives in constant action, in quick replies, in proving their worth with words. But every time you react without thinking, you hand over control. You teach the world that your time, your peace, your presence can be summoned on demand. We've walked through what happens when you stop doing that. Silence creates uncertainty. It forces others to wonder if they've misjudged you. It takes back control by breaking the pattern of instant availability. It creates scarcity, reminding everyone that your presence is not free. It awakens respect because dignity lives where explanations end. It flips the power dynamic. The one who once felt safe calling you back now has to wait. It gives you space to heal and rebuild strength without being pulled into old wounds. It forces reflection on those who once took you for granted, making them face truths they've avoided. And ultimately, it's the clearest way to choose yourself, peace over chaos, self-respect over cheap approval. This isn't about playing games or punishing anyone. It's about living as a man who knows his worth and protects it. Life will test your boundaries, in love, at work, in friendships. People will push to see if you'll bend, but your silence, used with intention, is a shield. It tells the world you're not desperate, not easy to manipulate, and not available to anyone who hasn't earned the right to your time and energy. Remember this: your reaction is your power. Guard it. Don't trade your dignity for attention. Choose calm, choose strength, choose yourself. And if you need one simple mantra to hold on to, let it be this: my silence proves my worth. Drop it in the comments and remind yourself that real strength doesn't shout. It stands firm, and lets the world adjust. If this message hit home, drop your voice in the comments. Have you noticed how silence shifts the way people treat you? How it builds respect, power, and calm without a single word? Share your story below to help other men find quiet strength. I'll see you in the next video, where we dive even deeper into mastering self-control and reclaiming your worth.